you check the children? You're a little mad sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Ruxpin.
Here to do a patron-requested review that is a long time coming from a long-time supporter, Mikey Mnemonic. Thank you so much for this request. I'm glad we finally got around to it. We are here to talk about the 2011 South Korean horror movie called The Cat. Now, this one was sitting on our list for a very long time, mainly because it wasn't really available anywhere, so if we were going to do it, everyone had to rent it in order to do so, and we just got caught up doing other stuff, but I am so glad that we finally got around to doing it, because starting off with our overall thoughts like we normally do, I'm going to say that I overall really enjoyed this movie. I personally would put it up there with the American, I mean, I guess, I haven't really seen the Japanese version, so I guess, yes, the American version of The Grudge and the American version of The Ring. Mm-hmm. They were very, similarly, not just paced, but tone. Mm-hmm. I felt they were very similar, and I felt like it was a very strong version of one of those kinds of movies. So my overall thoughts, I was very, very pleased with this and very glad that Mikey suggested it for us. What about you?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. I mean, it's right up my alley because I'm a huge paranormal nut, and that's what this is, And it was a true to form too, and which was amazing, and it got me quite a few times, which is kind of hard to do these days. Like, I don't feel like a lot of movies hold that, that level of gotcha, especially when you're talking about paranormal. So I thought it was really, really well done, well acted, and the story itself was very moving. So I give this one like a top level tier as well.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Two paws up.
Yeah, sure. So the story of this one is about a animal groomer. Right? You don't normally get a story all about an animal groomer.
It's about time.
Really. I mean the last one was what, Dumb and Dumber? Right?
Right?
Technically?
That's the last one I know of.
Yeah, me too. So it's been a number of years, so I think it's fine that we get a new one in 2011. And that was actually before the sequel of Dumb and Dumber, right? Well, yeah, before the sequel, because they did a prequel before that. But anyway, I'm going too far down my own analogy rabbit hole. So it's about a pet groomer who grooms this cat, and the owner of the cat picks it up, but then quickly meets a unfortunate end. And the groomer just happens to be nearby and recognizes the cat as the police are, investigating the scene. And so the, policeman's like, here, can you take care of the cat, while we handle everything else? And the groomer's like, okay, sure. And then from that point, she's taking care of this cat while, trying to find out what happened to the owner and why. And in the meantime, people around her start falling prey to, falling prey to unfortunate circumstances and accidents.
Yeah.
And they are all surrounded by a little girl ghost with cat's eyes. And so we don't know why, but this little girl ghost is used so effectively to me. And like really, Terrified was a really good foreign horror movie that we, reviewed recently that's on Shudder that had some disturbing imagery of a ghoul under a bed.
Right.
There was some disturbing imagery that was not far off from that in this film with the little ghost girl at different contortions and ways she would move and things like that, and it was super effective. So yes, this groomer needs to figure out why this ghost girl is haunting her and people around her, and how the cat is involved, and ultimately has to try and figure out a way to stop it so that people don't continue to die.
Yes,
and
including herself.
Including herself, yes. I think it was a very effectively told story. I was engrossed from the beginning, especially being a cat person, but also because
double whaming.
Well, because and because all the characters were very engaging. So I really appreciated the story. How about you?
Yeah, I thought the story was really well done because, I mean, there's when you find out what happens at the end, there's so many different ways they could have gone about it, and I really liked the fact that they chose the main character who also was claustrophobic.
Mm-hmm.
So she had a lot of issues with like being closed in, which I don't want to give anything away, but it does come into play later on.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was a really great way to follow this heroine throughout the whole storyline while pulling in the ghost aspects. And the ghost was so well done, and the way they used it was like amazing. There were so many times where I'm like, I know it's there and I know it's gonna be revealed, and it didn't matter. It got me, and like, and just because you didn't know how they were gonna reveal
That's exactly
her,
what I was gonna say.
because it was gonna be like, it was so haunting seeing this like little girl with the cat eyes, and
it's not the same as American cinema where it's always the person going to the mirror and then opening the mirror and then closing the mirror and the things behind them. No, they get creative.
They get super
creative.
super
creative with how the ghost scares are played off, and that's what makes it so thrilling.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And the other thing I liked about the ghost was that it wasn't just hi, I'm here, and now you're dead. She actually killed some people in some interesting ways.
Mm-hmm.
So like it got progressively more aggressive as the story played out, which was also very amazing to watch, because you're not just like, oh, it's the same thing over and over again. No, she does something different each part. Like it's almost like she customizes her kill for the person. So.
Progressively Aggressive is a good band name, I think.
Yeah, you write that one down.
Yeah, someone. But I agree with you, and it's all bolstered by tremendous acting throughout the whole thing. There was not a single person that pulls you out of it. Again, it's a South Korean film, so you have to understand that there are different. It's a whole different culture, and so they play things a little bit differently, but everything is still so effectively done that you feel where they want you to feel, and so much so that I legitimately was crying at a later part in the film during one of the, story reveals, and it was surprising me how invested into this particular story I was, especially considering whose story it's telling, right? Because American movies don't often try and make you feel as much for the antagonist as they do the protagonist.
Right.
And so that's what I really liked. They kind of toyed with it when they did The Ring 2 and tried to tell a little bit more of Samara's backstory.
Yeah, but they kind of botched it.
They did, I agree. Like, this was the way to do it.
Yeah.
Right? And
I agree.
Yeah.
I do. I feel like it was a really well done payoff too. It was like a reward for the watcher, because it brought in the humanity, aspect, and that's kind of what draws you to paranormal, anyways, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
the good ones,
right? Because the spirit world used to be part of us, so like there's got to be a human element that brings you back, and it brings you back to their story, which that's what we're watching. We're watching their story. So I think it was a really great way to give the watcher everything in one piece and feel really not good, but happy with what they watch.
Right.
So, a good resolution.
And the acting for you was
the
just
acting.
as strong.
Yes, we're back on. Sorry.
No,
Yeah.
no, you're fine.
Yeah, I mean that's how good everything was, because it keeps drawing you back into it, like you're reliving the whole experience. But yeah, the acting was amazing. The main character was really well picked. I felt like she was this person to me. She was a great choice for the character. Never drew me out of it. Even the supporting characters, like her boss, and then there was almost a humane society shelter guy who played a big role, and the cop who played a smaller role but was relevant. I mean, nobody pulled me out of it.
No.
They just every person that was in it contributed to the story in some way. So I thought everybody did a really good job.
Agreed. I thought it was a very beautifully presented movie. I thought the cinematography was great. I thought the sound design was great. I thought the score, complemented everything beautifully. I thought it was a very beautifully presented, technically proficient film.
Mm-hmm.
I thought all of those sequences worked so well in harmony with one another that it's just like one of those movies where you're like, yeah, just the presentation of the material is just as strong as the material itself.
Yeah, there really wasn't a moment where I was, bored or like wanting to move on or distracted by something else. Like I was invested, like you said, like everything that was coming to it was an experience. Especially like the some of the set designs when you're talking about towards the end, and there was some, like, even the Humane Society had such a very interesting set design for that.
Very particular room.
There was a lot of different locations, and there's some places it could have gone wrong, but everything was well thought out and well done. And the sounds was a big, and I think the sounds was maybe what's bringing you back to The Grudge and The Ring as well.
Right, yeah.
Because of the ghostly sounds, it was very similar, but very appropriate, not overdone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the sounds came when they needed to come. It wasn't every single time, I think, but like it was, I don't know. I think they did a good job.
No, I agree with you. Oh man, I was fighting that back. Holy shit. Okay.
Sometimes you just gotta let it go.
Yeah. Okay. So then the last thing I think there is to talk about is the effects, and I thought specifically the little girl's makeup effects were very effective. You know what I mean? From the contacts to the way she was actually done up, to the amount of issues they must have had trying to film with so many cats.
That's what I was thinking the whole time. Like, how did they get all these cats to coordinate with each other?
Yeah, I mean,
like,
I'm sure there was a little bit of CG cattery at some point, but nothing that I could really differentiate, overall. So I thought that was all good, but and then
very well trained cats.
And then some of the this wasn't a lot of gore per se, but it was a lot of post death makeup effects that we got.
Yeah.
And I thought all of those were very awesome, which for a movie like this is what's more appropriate, quite frankly.
Yeah, you're not looking for like a lot of gore and blood or anything like that. A lot of it is suggestive kills, because it's the suspense that really gets you, not necessarily like watching them just die or whatever. But
it's more of a PG-13 situation than an R situation.
Yeah, but it was well done. I thought especially towards the end in the reveal, it was very well done and very like disturbing at the same time.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Marcia and I both got affected by the same part pretty heavily, and I think anyone, but especially parents, will, for sure, because I know I was affected more by this having watched it after becoming a dad than I think I would have beforehand, because I've had scenes like that in movies beforehand, and it did not affect me like it did this time. And this time it was immediate, like, oh my god, what if that was my son? I would like, I don't know what I would do, and I just was like a wreck when I was watching that scene.
Yeah, it was very hard, but and then the ghost part of it too was well done.
Scary.
Like, it
Many times did I get goosebumps. I gotta say, at least 4 separate times.
It's so effective to have like a little girl with like looking all creepy in the dark with those
coming
cat
at you
eyes.
from impossible angles.
Yes.
Right? Impossible directions,
Yes.
upside down when they shouldn't be upside down,
Yes.
and like weird shit like that. Yeah.
I mean, that stuff freaks me out anyways. Like, sometimes I wonder about my kids, and
There was a particular scene where she comes out from under a bed, and it just was disturbing to me.
Yeah, it makes you want to look under your bed before you, or not, or both. I don't know. Like, you want to look under your bed, but you really don't. You rather just go to sleep in ignorance, bliss.
So that's the thing. This movie is available if you rent it for $4 from I don't even know what was it? Flix Fling, right? Yeah. That's where we rented it, because there's no place around that has it on DVD. Like, there's no sensible pricing for finding a DVD right now. It's like at least like $20 or $30 or something like that, if not more, if you can find one. So I don't know. I haven't done that deep of a search, but I wish this had a really cool Blu-ray release, because I think it deserves it. Yeah. Honestly, I would put it on the shelf next to The Ring and The Grudge as one of those really good ghostly movies, you know? I really dug this film, and I'm super grateful to Mikey Mnemonic for suggesting it to us.
Yes, thank you.
And apologetic that it took us so long to get to it, considering how happy I ended up being with it. But,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes things happen that way. I appreciate his patience. I appreciate all of you guys for watching this review. Thank you so much. If you've seen 2011 South Korean horror movie The Cat, let us know in the comments down below what your thoughts are. If not, let us know if this review made you want to go and seek it out. I would love to know if Mikey's love for this movie is going to spread to you guys like it did to us. And again, thank you, Mikey, for that. So if you guys want to become a patron, the link is in the description box for that as well. Until next time, though, I've been Cecil Laird.
I'm Marcia Parker.
And remember, stay scared.